Hey again, everybody. So today I have a quote again from Brandon Sanderson that I've quoted before. I'm almost wrapped up with Oathbringer now, which has been incredible. I've enjoyed this one quite a bit, and it's been cool to learn more about Dalinar and all that stuff. And I won't get into details just in case some of you guys have not read these books, but the Stormlight archive has such good deep thought quotes just uh, throughout the whole thing. And so this one today is a thing that Noah Don says. And he says, "Life is fair. We just can't always see what balances it." And when I was, because I listened to the audiobook version of it while I'm at work. And as I just listened to that, because I recently it's been kind of rough with my scheduling. I worked 6 days in a row this past week because I was in between two schedule changes, and it's only one day more than what I would usually work, but it felt like forever, and it felt like I was constantly at work, and that I didn't really have time to really do anything else or engage in my other interests. And so I was in a spot where I felt I was very unbalanced, and that I didn't have time to really enjoy anything, and that it was just I was only ever thinking about work. And so I heard this, and it made me kind of reframe myself and kind of think about that. I do have more time than I really think, and sure, like I did have less time this past week, but in my usual schedule and the schedule that I'll have now, I will have plenty to still do the things that I want to do despite work. And so trying to look for the things that balance it, and filling the time and the free time that I do have with things that do satisfy me and are enjoyable but still feel productive and all that stuff. And one of the biggest things that had like thrown me off with the schedule change is that I hadn't gone to the gym in like 3 or 4 days. And when you're in the constant rhythm of going there every single day, and then you suddenly miss it for a few days, then it really kind of like breaks you out of that flow. And so I felt like I was like, man, dude, like I'm so lazy right now. Like I'm not doing anything that's really helping me personally, because like the job that I'm working isn't the job that I want to work forever. It's just the means by which I'm making money, right? And so putting that to the side, all of the free time that I had, I felt like I was kind of wasting it, and that I wasn't doing anything that I personally was being edified by or satisfied by. And that was largely just due to me kind of spending most of the time outside of work sleeping, because my sleep schedule was also really screwed up too. And it's a lot better now, but it was a period where it just felt like I was either wasting time or I was at work, and there was nothing else. And but within the past few days, as this new week has started, I've had a lot more focus and discipline to actually do things that feel productive, and mainly going back to the gym and just doing that, and checking that off really just kind of brought that like life back into my day to day, because it felt like I was getting a thing done that I wanted to do and that mattered to me. And also, I'm doing a summer project with a couple of my classmates, and just today I made a new model for it, and I've been having a lot of fun planning that out with them and working on that when I can. But that was another thing that I had kind of not had time for, and so kind of thinking about, okay, I'm putting all this time into work. I need to find what is going to balance me and do things that I want to do outside of that time, so I still feel like I'm doing things that are worthwhile to me. And then, of course, I've also spent a, a lot of time with my fiance, and being able to do that and be with somebody that I love is, the number one best way to spend my time. So, just looking out for those things that will balance it more. And it's very easy to, in the mindset that I was in, was that I was completely off balance as far as my time was, and how my life was. And I just had to kind of look for those things that would kind of sway it back to the other side. And I was neglecting to allow myself or give myself the time or the energy, because I wasn't sleeping right or I wasn't eating right, to then, devote myself to those things outside of work. So overall, I think that this is just another way to say that it's very easy to get caught up in one thing. It's very easy for us to, when we're in school, all we ever think about is school. Or when we're working every single day, all we think about is just that. And after enough of it, we get, we get bored of it, and then it feels like we're kind of just forcing ourselves along this, like we're just kind of being dragged with it. And that's what work felt like, where I was doing the same thing every single day, and it just felt so incredibly draining and boring. And it took me actually spending time outside of it doing a thing that I really loved, and then I felt like new. And yeah, so I think we have more time than we think, and that life is more fair than what we initially think of it. And that oftentimes it's easy to tell ourselves that it's not fair, but usually it feels not fair because we're stuck in something that isn't fair, because we're not being fair to ourselves. And yeah, so there's a lot more opportunity there than I think we often give ourselves credit for, or give the world credit for. So yeah, other than that, other than the kind of the slow days at work, it hasn't been too bad. I am looking for an apartment, a new place to move to at the end of the summer. And I was rewatching a few of my other videos recently, and I realized like how little that I've spoken of kind of like plans and like future plans and all that stuff. And I'd kind of been holding this back because we haven't gotten a whole lot out yet, and I didn't want to talk about it until after I was already engaged. But I am engaged. I got engaged in February, and my fiance is awesome and beautiful, and I love her so much. And we have some very exciting things coming our way, and one of which is that we will be moving out together at the end of the summertime. And so we're just looking for a place to move in, like beginning of August-ish. And so I've been on the apartment hunt and trying to find a place that is affordable, that we can fit within our budget, because we also have to get all of our FAFSA stuff going on with the government and school and all that stuff. So lots of things to do, but very exciting things. And that there will be a balance there as long as we continue to seek it. And it's not always obvious, what that is, until you kind of find it, and you find what brings life back into your daily life. So yeah, that's kind of all I have for you guys for today. But Stormlight Archive is incredible, and I loved every second of it, and I'm excited to be fully caught up. And it's kind of sad to think that there's only a couple more books after I finish Oathbringer, but just gotta wait another 5 or 10 years until the next one's out. So anyways, that's all I got for you for today. I'll see you in the next one.